Hi, my name is Byron Bolter, and I'm here with Carolyn and David, who have graciously allotted some time for the next 7 weeks for us to have some mock counseling sessions. First of all, I do want to say that I am not a counselor, that this is just an assignment that I'm doing for the class that I'm in to help me learn the techniques that we're actually learning in class. So I want to make that clear. Um, and I do appreciate y'all's time and that you've allotted for me. Since y'all have actually offered up 7 weeks of the time, we can spend our time a little bit differently than if we were just having one session and that was it. Since we are going to be together for 7 weeks, I think it's important that we spend this week assessing how everything is working within y'all's marriage and how everything came to be the way that it is and everything. So, for our assessment part, I just kind of would like to hear how y'all got started in your marriage and how long y'all been married and all that kind of stuff.
We've been married for 12 years, going on 13. We are a blended family. We have 3 boys and we have 4. Very interesting fact, we've never spent a Christmas, but all those 12 years, we've never spent Christmas together, with the exception of last year. You want to tell the story about how we met? You love it.
Oh, how we originally met?
Yeah.
Well, you got this much time? No, the short version?
Yeah.
A short version. Growing up, my dad always liked to take us to amusement parks. And when I was 17, I met this blonde girl at the amusement park. We were dodging cars, and I kept wanting to get her phone number, and I got to thinking of long distance relationship wouldn't work. So
I was 14.
And I'm headed back to Mississippi because we had traveled in Illinois. And anyway, I said, well, here I am traveling. She could have traveled. She might have been right around the corner. So anyway, that feeling inside, gut feeling, I wanted to get her number. So years go on. I end up making several bad decisions.
He didn't get my number.
Didn't get the number.
And that was the best fun I've ever had in both phones. It was the first time that I actually allowed out on foster dad's site. So, I laughed, but then it didn't get much.
Anyway, I went on to get married, I got engaged to try to get my high school sweetheart to make her move.
Because manipulation always works.
Not always.
It backfired.
Yeah, it backfired because I'm a man of my word. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it no matter how bad it hurts. So I told this girl I'm marrying, and I went through it. And it lasted almost 12 years. And it went sour. She had female problems. Had 2 boys fired. Went on to get custody of the boys and come home one day and my oldest son, 10-year-old, says, today you go see my high school sweetheart. No. The Sunday school teacher.
So to make it a shorter story, basically,
yes.
This is his 4th marriage in my family.
But
no, I can't remember. We're very much talking.
Not 4.
It's your 4th.
Yeah.
But I've been married
6 times. Twice to the same person.
Okay. So 5 marriages.
But anyway, when I finally met her, was the time that I had done give up and decided that God, if there's a woman in my life that you want me to be with, it was all me making decisions before. I said, now, if you want me to be single the rest of my life, so be it. If not, you bring the woman that you meant for me to be with into my life. Well, I had already stayed away from computers because it got me in trouble staying off the internet. And one of my friends wanted me to get online, so I got on ChristianCafe.com, and I got to chatting with some of them on there. He talked me into it, and I didn't even know I was talking to a female there for a while. We got chatting, got in a deep conversation.
Well, what had happened was I wasn't on the other side either, and
No, she happened to.
I was working 3 jobs. I was a single mom. So I was bored at work all day. And I was working at the hotel place. And I said, well, and everybody kept bugging me about getting on the chat phone. And I said, and you gotta understand that God had brought our paths together quite a few other times, right? But, so anyway, so I got on the computer at work, and because we had downtime, and I said, I just want to see what kind of losers are all these talk shows, because I was determined we couldn't find a good Christian man on a talk show. Then I saw him, and I thought, and then he piqued my interest, because I was like, he's awful good looking to be on this side. And then, but my picture wasn't up there. On that ChristianCafe.com, I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever site it was, I don't know. But anyway, you have to put your profile in before you can talk to the person.
Right.
So, I put
So we just chatted.
so I didn't put my picture up there.
Didn't have any idea there for a while though that I was even talking to her, and then I think she ended up saying she wanted to chat again. So the next time I got on, I realized then I was chatting to a female, or at least
And then we
they said that they were. Because when you get on there, you never know what you're talking to. But anyway, it was a very inspirational, moving, heartfelt. It just seemed like the more we talked, that, like a magnet and steel. It was like, my strong personality and assets were her weakness, and vice versa, where I was weak and she was strong. And, opposites attract.
So we talked for a good long 20 months. And,
Yeah.
we finally met each other. But I had told God, I said, if this is really the man that you sent for me, then, because he talked a good game over the phone, I said, because the person I talked to was like, really, for me, God? And then, I said, he won't even offer to kiss me. And, he won't.
She passing through town, calls me up and said, hey, would you like to have coffee? I said, sure. Never seen her before, had no idea who I was meeting. But.
Because you still hadn't seen her picture yet.
Hadn't seen her picture. But we had talked, I'm talking about hours on the phone. We had swapped phone numbers online, and there was nights that we talked nonstop all night long.
Yep.
And I'm talking about that, but, as soon as it got to where our minutes were free to talk, we talked all night long.
And we really thought, so then we met, and 2 months later we got married. And, we thought we talked about everything. We talked about what we family,
I thought we had covered everything.
We talked about, everything that we thought could come up, would come up. We wanted to make sure we came into marriage with no luggage, right? So we wrote through this way. Well, that didn't happen.
Some of the garbage kept tucked away.
Yeah, there were a lot of things. There were a lot of things that I didn't catch. And with my best friend, who was probably the only one that was actually at the wedding, because that was, how funny sometimes that you think you decide, the church life wouldn't work. Everything could go wrong went wrong. And then, so after we got married, I was like, is that God's voice I heard?
No. I was sure that she was the one that God had intended me to be with all along. And I got confirmation because she hadn't seen her mom in a long time. She'd moved from Ohio.
See, we didn't realize that we had met yet before. We hadn't realized that.
But I wanted to surprise her and take her for her birthday to her mom's. We go to her mom's, and we're taking the luggage to her room. We're going to stay in the mobile home. I see a picture on the wall. And I might not remember names, but I don't forget a picture of the face. And I stopped, and I said, who's that? She said, that's me when I was about 14. I said, did you ever go to amusement parks? Yeah, when I was that age, I went to Great America, to the amusement park up there in Illinois. I said, really? I said, you remember the little blonde guy on dodging cars? And she dropped her bag. She said, no way.
Yeah.
And I said, I gotta know. I had a full scholarship to go to Virginia Tech when I graduated. just before I graduated. And I turned it down because my high school sweetheart was there. I didn't want to go out of state. Full scholarship with Virginia Tech. Everything. And I turned it down. I said, I gotta know, where do you live? She said, not too far from Virginia Tech. I said, you gotta be kidding. And then she said, and I said, where were you at in 1998? She said, that was the time I was moving from right around there. She was moving from, and she came through there. So this was the fourth time that we finally crossed paths and officially got together. She had told God that, she didn't believe that she was supposed to be single all her life. And I had said that I gave up. I thought I was supposed to be single the rest of my life. And I said, that special someone's out and bring her into my path.
But the thing that we didn't realize the different paths that we came from, because he grew up in Mississippi and, it was in one stable place. And it's not like Pastor Bob Robinson. He didn't try to warn you.
Yeah, he told me.
Because he told me, when you marry her, you're going to move many times. And you're going to
change jobs.
You're going to change jobs. And like it's going to be very chaotic. I don't think that's
I've always said, in Christ I can do all things.
Yes, well, and that's what I told her when he asked me.
And when she told me that her son
first
were this way or that way.
When he asked me to marry him, I said, I can't marry you because I have a dog son. Now, how crazy is that? I have a dog son and I'm still taking care of. I followed her.
And I asked her to explain. And she said, well, they got this and they got that. And I thought, I understood that, but yet I didn't understand how extreme they were.
But his answer to that was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Don't we have this cliche,
Right.
But I truly felt that. And I really didn't have deep down a clue what that was in for.
So he grew up in Mississippi and he's had this straight life, so pretty much. I mean, I wondered, anytime somebody has multiple marriages and there's red flags and you wonder why they're there. So I couldn't see it. Coming from the background I came from, I grew up in foster care, I moved many times. So, I was doing my best to survive for the things that I was making it through. And he just, I was honestly, probably the thing that I didn't tell him now that I realize is that, if I would have been honest and said, look, I'm just looking for somebody to take care of my kids, to come in here and help me, he would have been like, see ya!
Right.
I can't do that.
So now that y'all are married and have been for the last 12 years, what do you think about those red flags and those signs that you were seeing about maybe shouldn't have done this whole thing?
It's really funny because, there's no funny haha about it, but it's strange fun. Because my pastor told me that I shouldn't marry him. My Bible study teacher said that. And my mentor said that too. And I found a note not too long ago that said, and I didn't share this with you, but I don't know that I'll share her name. Because I was writing everything down and do that. And because I really wanted to know about I had one involved like 12 years.
Right.
Now. But said that, they were concerned that he was too conforming. And there were a lot of things, so your question was, what do I think about it all now and then what does that?
Right.
I wish I would have paid attention to him. I wish I would have educated myself more.
So then the whole marriage is
It was hard. It was,
hard at the beginning, but you've worked through many of those issues.
Absolutely. I hated him for a really long time. I mean, there was a lot of things that he didn't realize that I went through that he had been through. He was totally unfollowed.
There's some of the things that she went through that, in telling me, I understood it, but I didn't also understand the severity of what the trauma that she had done.
Well, see, and that's the other thing I have to say too. I don't know if you're, at this part of the session, but so I grew up in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
I was molested by my grandfather. I was molested by a Baptist preacher. I was molested. So I had several of that in my history. And I don't know if I told you those things in the beginning or not. I mean, Because and so when I grew up,
No, it was kind of summation that you had been molested when you were young.
so then by the time I was 11 and a half, not too many years before I met him, I was raped and then I was being kept with somebody's mistress under the device of foster care. So now he comes along and he wants to be with my savior, pretty much. Not my Lord and Savior, but, you know, my knight in shining armor, knight in touch. And he thinks he's just going to fix my life. Well, that was
Right.
So, but I had some counseling. I mean, I wasn't just, but in the 80s, when you break back then, when stuff like that was brought forward, especially in church, all that didn't happen. You know, so I got secular counseling because the Christians didn't deal with it. So, being the fact that he was the first man that I was ever married to that allowed me to say no, you know, I beat him up pretty bad.
So this has been a pretty long road for you.
It has been.
A lifelong road for you as far as being able to trust men in general because of all of the catastrophes and traumas and everything that you've been through, and that would be also understandable for why you've had 6 previous marriages also.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Being that some of them are supposed to be in a trusting position of higher authority and for them to abuse it.
Well, and the other thing too, so the woman that he was married to, it was they were untrustworthy. So he didn't trust me a whole lot either. So when you don't have trust in a marriage, what do you have? Nothing.
Right.
You know? So we, and in Mississippi, the streets close up at 8 o'clock. So here in Texas, they were still open at 10.
Right.
You know, so when we were talking over the phone, everybody thought I didn't catch. It's like, really? You were where at what hour?
Differences in where you go.
At 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, districts are not open.
Don't stay open until 10 o'clock at night.
They do in Texas, don't they? So I can see that trust is a big issue that y'all have had to overcome and are probably still in many areas, in many ways, are still working through the issues of trust with each other. Well, that is something that we can definitely work on in our sessions together.
Okay.
I look forward to that. So in your stages of life, basically, you are empty nesters.
Yes, we are. But you know, the crazy thing is, my boys were stolen from me when they were little. So when I got them back when they were teenagers. So we don't really have that empty nester thing going on. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but people go through it.
Right.
So, yes, it's true, we are considered empty nesters, but I don't have a clue what that is.
Right, because you haven't had your children in your life.
The normal.
Right.
Had a bonding with their children, and then had to snatch out from them.
So we're old people home alone.
And with your children, David, did you have, were you a part of their life more than Carolyn had her children? Or?
My first 2, but my first marriage, yes. I had custody of them and tried to raise them as best I knew how.
Their mother gave up entirely.
She in the divorce, she ended up meeting an ex-convict that had spent 9 years of a 30-year sentence for molesting a 4-month-old baby girl. And ended up, they wanted to get married, and the only way she could do that was completely give up rights to her children, and she gladly did it because she didn't think he did the crime. Yep. And so I raised them, and then my third son was by my second marriage, of which she left after 9 years for her high school sweetheart, and little did I know how much political connection she had. She had a uncle that was a state senator, and she had a cousin that,
Can I pause you for a minute to see how things kind of come full circle? Because remember what went on with his high school sweetheart and thought, you know, he'd marry this girl, so, you know, I'm going to marry you, and then hopefully the girl will come back. And,
and she was just looking for somebody to financially set her. Somebody that had good insurance and good pay, which I had a good job.
and the difficult thing with that, was, we found out that she was seeing her high school sweetheart, for the whole time they were married.
The whole time.
Thought she had a child.
She thought that our son was his.
So that there was a big deception going on between your ex-wife and yourself, as far as, you know, was it your child, was it this other dude's child? Whose is it?
Exactly. And see, he didn't know all the dynamics was going on. It wasn't until we got married, and I was busy fighting for child custody for his son.
Right.
And,
Of which I found out after we put all that together that explained the times when I would send her flyer and take her flyer. She didn't want to show up at work because it made her
she was telling
ongoing
everybody
affair with
what
somebody
person
else.
it is.
Right. She's leading everybody to believe that I was a real volatile, awful person.
But he's changed a lot. We both have. So it wasn't.
It sounds like y'all had a lot of, trauma to work out individually, and then when you merge yourself together as a couple and try to, do the whole, marriage thing, and things don't mesh up when you have such a volatile background.
Yes.
Well, it really sounds like we have some areas that we can work on together. I do appreciate y'all's time. Let me ask this. If there were one or two things in particular that y'all would want to work on in your marriage specifically, what would those things be? Or what would that one thing be that would y'all would be looking for more improvement on?
More time alone with each other.
Well, that's funny you should say that, because I think I need to learn to not be such a man, because our personalities are so different. And when I'm trying to get him to do something, and I'm very project management oriented, and and a lot of times he's just like, well, where are we going? I think
a lot of times that she and I'm one of them on the spur of the moment people sometimes, but there's sometimes, but that's when I know that there's going to be a positive outcome. A lot of times she wants to jump and do something, and I'm one of them people that analytical.
Here's a perfect example.
I analyze it and see down the road what's the outcome going to be, and so I'm like, let's talk this over
because I've lived my life by faith. God says, we get to the mountain, God says, here's what we're going to do, and God mentions the word jump, and I'm off the mountain. And David's like, okay, God, I'm waiting for instructions.
I want confirmation, that's what you said.
And I'm yelling, I'll build my wings on the way down. And I'm like, are you ever going to get here? So I'm trying to think what exactly. I don't know that trust is such an issue anymore. I think it might still be with you a little bit. I think that you, and I think
I'm still trying to get it soaked in that after all these years, you finally quit supporting your own children.
Yes, but probably that was something that just happened recently. We are very much in a financial moment because he bought toys.
Yes.
And I took care of the children, so, which is not the children, the grown men. I spent thousands of dollars in trying to make them do it.
But I've always been good at math, and I knew that the amount of money we were making, that there should still be we should not be hurting to make payments. And it seemed like we just kept struggling to get by, and then like, something ain't right.
So probably the first thing we can do is to help us figure out what we work on. We're kind of all around the circle here. But, I think agreement on financials, I think, me learning to be more considerate of his feelings. What else? Is there? I think just learning to be on the same page with each other.
There's been a few times that we're on the same page, same paragraph, and the same verse, and it's wonderful when it happens.
Yeah, and that's really neat when that harmony happens. But it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I think that this has been a good start to our sessions together, and we will pick this up next week.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you all for your time.
Yes, sir, Brian. Thank you.
Now, you got